Today I want to show you my version of a super fast Birch tree farm. It yields about 38,000 logs per hour in 20 TPS conditions, which is about 3,000 logs per hour more than the previous record holder. Because it's not easy for the human eye to see such tiny differences, I will explain my Birch tree farm with the help of a direct comparison to the previous record holder. It's not that I want to talk the other project down, it's just easy to me to explain the seemingly tiny differences. In December 2014 on the Chinese YouTube channel Yeju Maple, a tree farm was shown that was made by Duo and IKOH that features speed that has never been seen before. It was a huge inspiration to the technical community. This farm was so fast that it could grow a tree every 12 game ticks. If you look closely at the tick counter at the right, you'll see that the first tree grows at 3984, and then again the next tree will grow 12 ticks after that. Here is a cutout version running at real speed. Because you can't really see what's going on, I recorded the same process 40 times slower. This tree farm uses 4 dispensers and uses instant leaf detection. As soon as the detectors detect the leaves, piston under the dirt will start pushing the tree up, and after 4 game ticks, the pistons at the side are able to push the trunk 1 over. They use a 3 game tick signal to push these Acacia logs back and forth, because it's the fastest where the pistons wouldn't lose the block. After about 9 game ticks, the piston at the back would retract the second piston, and after 12 game ticks the whole process can start over. And here's what I'm doing. I'm only using 3 dispensers, but I don't push the tree up by 1. To compensate for the 4th dispenser, the whole tree pushing process is faster. As soon as a tree is detected, the piston in the back would receive a 0 tick signal. Also an exact same game tick, the second piston would receive a 3 game tick signal. So after 3 game ticks, the second piston retracts again, so you're able to plant a new sapling. After 6 game ticks, second 0 tick signal is sent to the pistons in the back, so those would check the second pistons after 8 game ticks, and the whole system would be ready again after 10 game ticks. So that means that in the best case I can grow a tree every 10 game ticks, which is 2 game ticks faster than the Chinese version. But obviously I'm only using 3 dispensers, so we have to figure out what's better, using more dispensers or have the faster log pushing speed. In order to do that, we have to look at the way trees generate if you bone mill them. So trees have 2 growth stages. If they advance to stage 2, they would grow. And there's a 45% chance to advance to the next stage if you bone mill a sapling. If you open your F3 screen, you can see at the right side that this sapling is the moment at stage 0. So if you bone mill it, there's a 45% chance to get to stage 1, and if it reaches stage 2, the tree would grow. What's interesting or helpful in the case of our tree farms is that if you obstruct the sapling with a solid block, or in the tree farms with pistons for example, that still the sapling could advance to stage 1 if you bone mill it. Both the Chinese and my version use the fact that you can bone mill a sapling while it's still obstructed. In case of the Chinese version, you're able to plant the sapling after 7 game ticks when the Acacia logs would retract. The Comparator Clock activates every 4 game ticks, so after 8 game ticks the sapling would get bone milled the first time. In case of my tree farm, you're able to plant the sapling 3 game ticks after the first tree has grown. The update order works for us. Player actions like planting a sapling are processed before Redstone. The player attempts to plant a sapling every 4 game ticks. So a sapling that you plant after 4 game ticks is indeed bone milled in the same game tick. To figure out how likely it is to grow a tree after a certain amount of bone mill attempts, and as a result how long it takes on average to grow a tree, you can use the formulas for the binomial distribution. Here, for example, is the probability to not get to the next stage if you bone meal a sapling 4 times. And here the results, how long it takes on average to grow a tree. I just summed up the probabilities. For example, there's certain probability that it takes additional 2 redstone ticks to grow a tree, and there's a certain probability to grow a tree after 4 redstone ticks, and so on. And that's the total time on average it takes to grow and harvest a full tree. As a result, you can grow and harvest that many trees per hour. I did some command block testing to figure out how tall a birch tree grows on average. It grows on average 6 high, which makes sense because it can grow between 5 and 7 high. As a result, you would get that many logs per hour. In the last part I want to show some of the redstone. So whenever our instant leaf detectors detect some leaves, we first shorten down the signal to 4 game ticks and then to 3 game ticks. And here's our 0 tick pulse generator for the pistons in the back. And that's the only part of the farm that is a little bit locational, because there is a chance that redstone dust that is further away from the sewers updates before other redstone dust. To increase the chances that redstone dust would update this piston before this piston, we have this grid of redstone. If you want a more detailed explanation how redstone dust updates work, there will be a link to Sharia's video on that topic. Also, we have an instant repeater that creates a 3 game tick signal, which is for the second pistons that would extract and retract those birch logs to push the tree further. And then there's the second 0 tick signal for the pistons in the back to grab those back again, which is after 6 game ticks, so there's 4 game ticks and an additional 2 game ticks here. Then we also have to manipulate the comparator clock, so you would have a bone meal attempt after 2 redstone ticks and after 5 redstone ticks. In order to do that, we move the source of the comparator clock with a 0 tick over to there and instantly send it back with another 0 tick signal. So that creates the gap of 3 redstone ticks between 2 bone meal attempts. Then there's also the way we grab the bottom logs from the tree with this sticky piston here. It has 2 game ticks of delay and grabs the bottom log with a 0 tick pulse, so that's enough. Then we further transport the logs over here, and here the tree merges again, then it gets pushed into the wizard cage lost. So that's pretty much it about the farm. I hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.